Welcome back to Fitness Business Consulting. I'm here with James Sackle. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Jamie, how are you?
Shaking hands.
I love shaking hands with James.
You know, loves it, making it awkward. You're left out.
Yeah, just sitting here by myself.
We'll hug at the end. So let's do you off camera. I think you deserve credit on camera. You were very instrumental to us starting Fitness Business Consulting.
Yeah, cool.
When we first started watching, at my point in time, my favorite podcast ever, which was Sales Sniper with Matt Ryder.
Yeah, the old coffee fees for closers. Those
That's
days.
right.
Coffees for
That's what it's
Closers. And I think,
called. Not here to save the manatees.
Hey, I tell you what, if you guys want a funny story, I was getting really into like just doing shit for fun.
Yeah.
We went and got like 100 kilos of coffee beans made. Like Sales Sniper or Coffee is for Closers, branded coffee beans. I've still got some at home. I'll bring them in for you.
That would be amazing.
when
That's
we
vintage.
were big fans of the show, that was around the time that Seventh Level was exploding.
Yeah, okay.
But not just Seventh Level and Sales Sniper, it was the online space.
Yeah.
Me and Mitch obviously had our gyms and we wanted to transition into the online world.
Yeah, yeah.
So today I want to talk about you scaled companies super quickly. And some might even say irresponsible when you scale that quickly.
Absolutely.
So when you scale quickly, what breaks, how'd you do it, and why you've started J Squared, which is about systems that you build and create to run a business you
And
love.
before you go, we've tried scaling our businesses multiple times, and we've had varying levels of success. Most of the time, not much success, and we find that everything breaks, and we end up back to square one or further back. So, yeah, I'll be taking some notes on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
So Sales Sniper, early days, you started selling fitness.
Yep.
You did Fitness Sales Sniper. You were the original fitness sales experts.
Yeah, I'm sure there was like people out there that did it, but
Just you guys.
as far as the research went, I mean, there was Hormozy was doing like a similar thing.
Yeah.
Probably quite different, but yeah, I mean, the story. Like me and Matt were in gyms together. You know, we're involved in quite a couple. My background was I was involved in a lot of I guess AFL, NRL clubs, doing like a lot of like training. You probably can't tell. I was pretty good powerlifter back in the day. Long time ago, clearly, right?
Yeah.
And so my first job ever was, mostly my first job was a PT business. I teed up with Matt. We started, it was the days where you could run some pretty outrageous sort of Facebook ads, and I was doing a bit of mentoring with him. Eventually we sort of went into gyms, and lo and behold, we grew a couple of gyms and figured out we were pretty good at selling gym memberships.
Can I just jump in there? Jump in there. Outrageous Facebook ads. So you don't know this because I ran our ads. Once the ad was published,
You could edit it.
it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And you could have before and afters. You could have
You could
have
write what-
outrageous claims. you could have
24
anything.
kilos and 24, whatever you wanted was in there.
Look how Sandy achieved this.
Yeah. I think like one of the best ones we ever saw was after the edits was, "Are you tired of being fat and ugly? You're doing our 28-day program and you can just be ugly." You know, it was
That's a great ad.
killed it, right? Killed it.
Good
Yeah.
lead cost.
Yeah, mate, it was amazing. Yeah, I think I was getting like just in like a PT, and I was working out of a big box. Like I was getting leads for $5 to $10. It was pretty decent.
Yeah. All
I
right.
might have to try that.
What year was that?
What year was it? I reckon 2012 to 2015,
Okay.
maybe 2018.
Early
Yeah,
adopters.
very early. Yeah.
And then when did you and Matt go out on your own and start Sales Sniper?
Well, we were still in the gyms at the time. Matt had left. I was working full time. Then he needed a way to make money and realized that he was good at selling gym memberships. So called a bunch of mates and started selling the gym memberships for them. And then, I sort of come on and we had a conversation. It's like, yeah, look, we could probably, why not? Let's just have a crack at it. And then started selling more gym memberships.
And
Then I quit.
just to expand, gym owners running ads, leads were getting exported to you guys. You were just calling, selling over the phone.
Yeah, straight like smile dial, actual like dial, ding 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 ding. Hello, would you like to not be fat and ugly? You know, it's
You saw the ad.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was
That was
basically it. And then like fast forward probably 6 months from there, we're like, man, this is not a lot of commission on $200, right? So we readjusted the models and ended up like doing some different things. I could probably think of 10 different things that's not interesting at this point. But then we had one of the guys that was similar to what you guys was doing marketing for gyms.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you just want to sell it for all of our gyms? And then he goes, oh, do you want to sell it for me? I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I guess you could do that. Makes sense. It's not a gym membership, but it's close enough. Then he said, yeah, I'll pay you this much a sale. I'm just like, oh, yeah, right. You could get higher commissions if you
Sell bigger
bigger things.
So your first high ticket
Yeah.
exposure.
Yeah. Then we just went, oh, okay, well, why don't we sell bigger things?
They stopped selling gym memberships, left it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They saw us coming.
Like, I remember like seeing an ad one day and it was Jamie's head. I'm like, oh, mate,
Time to pivot.
we got to get out of this.
Time
Like,
to
the
pivot.
comp's coming.
I hear they opened a pretty big boot camp in 2015. They're coming for us.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right?
abort mission, Matt. Jamie's coming.
So you were selling for gyms. You pivoted to selling a high ticket offer.
Yep.
And that was really the birth of Sales Sniper. Now, this was 5 years ago, maybe pre-COVID, but like it was Sales Sniper was everywhere. Coffees is for Closer was for everywhere. Jeremy Minor was exploding and it just went ballistic.
Yeah, I think like we were doing pretty good before ever meeting Jeremy.
Yeah.
Like we got to a stage where things were starting to roll downhill pretty quick. Like, when I say downhill, I mean positively, like speeding up.
And you were selling for you were selling 30K offers.
Yeah, heaps of them. Yeah, anywhere from, we're still doing gym memberships because we had staff. We had clients that were paying us retainers or whatever. Then we switched to just going, hey, look, we'll sell the gym memberships and we'll keep the money. You guys get new clients, right?
Yeah.
Were you just in Australia at this point?
No. So I think probably in the first 6 months, we ended up having majority of our clients in the UK as opposed to Australia. No, for no fault of just referrals started happening, and that's where we got people, and we got some pretty good sales guys over there. So we said, let's keep these sales guys full, and we're looking for gyms there.
And this was around that 2020 period. I mean, give or take.
Maybe 2019, maybe 2018.
I guess for us, we were, I feel like, a little bit ahead of the curve where we were actually doing phone sales for like our gyms at that point, which was pretty unique. I mean, you guys are obviously doing it, but the everyday gym owner would always be come to the studio, do a free trial, or do a consultation, sell them in person. And one day I remember I couldn't make a consultation, or she couldn't make it. And I said, well, if I just give you a call? She said, yeah. And then I signed her up and we celebrated. And ever since then, we'd started on the phone. But it wasn't until...
Some more context on that story, by the way. So Mitch and I spent the weekend in Nelson Bay with our partners. I left my keys at Woolworths.
Smart, yeah.
Literally.
Oh, that's right.
Went back to Newcastle.
Yeah, we went to get that. And then I did it, I think, when we got there.
You did it in the car?
Pressure was on. Jamie was listening.
There's a Warners Bay member. Her name started with MM. Remember it like it was yesterday. When you make your first phone sale, the world opens.
I guess the reason for my story is then from there, it just opened up this whole world of calling for sales as opposed to in person. And then it wasn't until, I guess, COVID came in 2020 that you kind of had to do it. And probably similar to you guys, we were ahead of it. We're like, oh, sweet, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. And it didn't really disrupt
Kind
that
of like
sales process.
light
at
bulb
all.
moment.
Yeah.
I can sell stuff on the phone. It was really funny. We had one of those where was it first client that was sort of out of the fitness area. We were selling marketing for fitness and a whole bunch of things, but this was completely different contextual, right? So it was a business coach, and they were in like practice services, osteos, dentists, etc. And I remember we had a sales guy taking his first call on it. He calls back and he goes, I've made the sale. I'm like, fuck, wow, it works, right? This is real. And then he was telling me about it. He's like, yeah, they've committed. They haven't paid. I'm like,
Not a sale.
anyway. So I call the owner and say, hey, well, look, we've had the first call. Because I was thinking he was going to, I think the guy offered a discount or did whatever. I'm like, hey, look, mate, we offered a little bit of a discount. He's paid a deposit. We've told him you'll onboard him even with the deposit. and I'm just waiting to get like served for this.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's amazing. I didn't think you'd make a sale so quick. Like, who cares? You've proven it works. I was like, whew.
That would have
Yeah.
been sweet.
Yeah, that was a good day.
Proof of concept.
Yeah. There are those
Nothing
pivotal
like
moments in life where just it's a whole new world opens up.
Yeah.
Taking payment over the phone.
So Sales Sniper helped get me through those long COVID days of lockdown. I'd listen to the podcast and tune in.
I apologize. Yeah.
Where my, I guess, love of sales really came from, I remember, because I thought I was pretty good at sales because I just sold with conviction. I was the founder.
Yeah.
I love what I did. It was a live call recording of Matt selling on YouTube. It was like fitness sales call review. It was an online program for like $2,000. It was a 20-minute phone call. I would have watched it hundreds of times. I'm like, what sparked your interest? Like, what happens if you don't make a change? Do you think this could? I took those 3 lines, told Mitch about those 3 lines. We just added them to our calls and we were just closing everyone. Like,
Yeah, there was something about like, I remember, I think it was that one or another call recording you did. I'd never seen a call recording online.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's probably illegal.
but I was like, my first thought was, how do you record this?
Yeah.
Like what software did he use? And then it was just this, it seemed a little bit awkward because it was that NEPQ style of selling. And then lo and behold,
Yeah, this was probably still when he was shit.
don't know,
Yeah.
but it worked. And we really looked up to him from that because that was, again, we were doing phone sales. We had a bunch of different studios at that time. And it just opened up our eyes as to what was possible.
I downloaded the objection matrix. It was great.
Yeah. I made that. You're welcome. Yeah.
It was good.
So what did that was obviously that point. What did that lead into with, I guess, Sales Sniper and then into 7th level from there?
In regards to sort of what?
Well, how did you see the growth of Sales Sniper in that period? Because that's kind of what you did. Well, Jamie mentioned that was like a point of tremendous growth and you were rolling downhill, as you eloquently put.
Yeah, I
it.
think like it was just sort of like momentum. Right, you get a couple of guys that really knuckle down, pretty good what they do, have some strong goals, and it's just a matter of going out to sort of get it. And like I think what worked really well is we created a strong culture where people wanted to come and be involved in that.
Ruthless
Right.
culture.
So you can attract really, really high quality. And there's a very, very, very good balancing act, which it's hard to, it's easy to swing one way, either way. And that's having like a strong level of aggression where you can go out and go hard and make all the sales you want. And that works, but it only works if you've got the back end ability to be able to handle that. Right. So in terms of like a relationship sort of between myself and Matt, as you guys were saying, is he was very good about going out and getting work and signing and doing whatever deals that he could. Right. Now, you take on too many of those deals, shit falls apart in the back end.
Yeah.
So it's a level of sort of balance. And our agreement was, mate, you can be as aggressive as you want. I'm going to be the temp gauge where I dictate, all right, go hard, slow down. Go hard, slow
very
down.
familiar.
That's exactly our relationship.
Yeah, because you take on too many people, you deliver shit service, affects reputation. That brand identity is poor. It also kills your margins because you've got all these sales guys that you've brought on to put onto offers or whatnot, and they're not getting fed what they need. They're not getting trained well enough, which again affects their momentum. Gets talent leaving, then you can't service anyone else after that. So it was really important in a lot of the conversations that we had was to make you go out and get all this work. It's your job to bring in the revenue. It's my job to make sure that everything is functional and I have the cash available to be able to invest it in what I need to develop the systems that are going to allow that to churn over and continue so we don't have a dip in income.
I quote you all the time. I'm sure I told you it was James's quote. It was on a podcast 5 years ago. I
Pay
heard
builds
it.
his own.
Yeah. I said like you need an accelerator, you hit a brake, and the accelerator just needs to be a little bit stronger than the brake.
Yeah.
But if that's out of balance, that's when you end up at the FTC and ACCC and just disaster.
Well, what you just mapped out there was where we've been a few different times.
Yeah.
Where we find some marketing that works well. Jamie's a good salesperson. We're bringing on clients, getting them results. We increase our ad spend.
Yeah.
We get some more clients. maybe it's starting to reach a bit of a colder audience. So some of these clients that are coming in aren't as good a fits as the ones that originally came in. We've all of a sudden got an influx of clients. We don't have the manpower to be able to deliver on that many, let alone when a larger percentage of them aren't getting results. So they need more support. So then I say, hey, we need to stop. We need to fix. And then once we fix, we can go again. But if you've invested in the team in that period and you've got a larger team because of the increased demand, then they're stuck with not much to do. And because you grow used to that new amount of demand that you've been bringing in the last few months. Yeah. And that's that balancing act that we've always
And that's the trap,
hard.
right? Like the ads work well, you're selling people, you pause, you put in all this middle management, all this structure that needs X number of onboarding calls, it is the high ticket world is just so interesting because it is that balance.
Yeah, balance is probably a good word, but I think it's more about like the foreseeable problems, right? So like in order to grow revenue, there's going to be some clear levers, right? And it's about mapping out and understanding to pull on those levers what is required to actually achieve it. You know, so if we're going to take on more clients, we're going to need more salespeople, right? So for us, knowing that like the biggest prevention from that lever is going to be the talent to execute on it, right? So there's two parts to that problem. Is quantity and quality, right? So what we do is knowing that, okay, this is going to be the biggest roadblock on this lever. How can we get in front of it? And how do we start building assets that are going to allow that to become a secondary lever that we can pull on it before like we go out and get more revenue? To do that, quantity is we needed a pool of people to draw in so that we had people available to train. And quality is training.
Want to pause there. People really struggled to find salespeople when you had people knocking down your door to work for you.
Well,
you spoke before about the culture. What was that culture where like A-level salespeople wanted to work for you?
Well, before you touch on that, right? Culture, by one, the purpose is because it's a place that you want to work and it wants to make it good. But we had strong conversations to be like, okay, for these two things, quality and quantity, how do we achieve them? The way you bring in good quality and good quantity is by having a good culture. So it's not just, that wasn't done as a byproduct. It was a systematic way to foresee a problem and build an asset, i.e. culture, that is going to foster that. So, and I can go deep on that, but I just like, it probably helps to have this understanding and contextual information first, right?
Yeah.
So knowing that we needed to get a whole bunch of quality and we needed to train them, right? We know that in order to boost margins, we want to be able to pay people, not peanuts, but pay people less than a going market rate. When you have a good culture, it's easy to get buy into that. People will take a smaller percent in the same way that you see in professional sports. People will take a pay cut to stay at a club that they love to win a premiership, right? Exact same concept. All of our concepts came from military. Matt's background in the military, my background in just elite sports.
Yeah.
All right. And we understood that that's going to be a way to do it. And the second one from that is if we get young people in, they're there as juniors training. One, we can mold them to the salespeople we want them to be to fit into a system that we've built in terms of here's how we do the sales, here's how we test, here's how we train. It all becomes a dialed in little package where it's almost like in the same way that you would run a manufacturing clinic. It's like, okay, these are all the processes in like an SOP of how we train people and get them good. Then in terms of like getting the quality in, we built our podcast in a way that it was an asset as a recruitment tool. So like, as you said, all the videos, if you weren't doing your own thing, you'd probably come and say, hey, I want to work for you guys.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It looked like a fun place to work.
Yeah. If there was ever anywhere we would reach out to, it would have been you guys.
And that's exactly what the podcast was for.
Yeah.
It was one to build a little bit of trust for clients, but it was more so designed as a recruitment platform. All the topics that we spoke about, how we're super good at training people to make them really good. We did all of the interviews with our staff about how they're crushing it, making heaps of money, how they went from average at sales to really good at sales and mapped out those journeys. And that is, as a subtle sell to the audience. so that they built this picture in their head that this is the place that I go to get good. You know, whether they stayed with us for years and years, it doesn't matter. We were going to get people that had that level of hunger, because that's what we built the culture around, so that people were coming here knowing they had to work hard, they had to get good, and if they follow that process, they're going to get to where they want. So that podcast was designed to attract people, and it would already filter out the people that aren't hard workers because they know that they can't make it. Then you build that internal culture where people want to stay, they want to get better, and they want to, you know, get in the trenches and do things for you. So it's very systematic.
So question for you with that. So how far would you look in advance? Like, would you say, hey, we're going to need 10 new salespeople next month? Was it next quarter? Was it next year? Like, what would be your timeline for planning? Because that can be, it's the reason I ask is it can be challenging for us, because sometimes we feel like we might need a position here, and then a month later or 3 months later, we no longer need that, or vice versa.
Yeah. There is no real tangible way to know that. We wouldn't just go out and say, okay, we want another client on this date, we want another client on this date, because it makes sense in a planning session, but it doesn't work out that way. So we, as deals come up, we would focus on them and say, hey, look, we'll get you guys in. And then what was important for us is having like those, you know, the closing code, the cheap training products, so that we always had people in there rolling through on a cycle where we could just go to that group, the next guys.
For the audience, so James and Matt had a massive Facebook group where they gave away lead magnets, or it was $27 or it was $50 a week to be in the program. And that was your that was your recruitment pool.
Yep.
And that was like
training.
That was your warm group of people. Yep. And you bring on a new account or a few new accounts, and like, okay, now we need 5 people, go to the group.
Yeah, sweet. And it would be like, we'd phrase it as a boot camp. Like, I think it was like free training almost. Right, we'll train you. You do good, you get a job at the end of this. So at any point, we had an ability to draw from people. And then if we had good sales guys like come up from the network or whatever, we would say, yep, get in, don't quit right away. Let's get you on doing some part-time stuff. You can take a couple of calls here and there while we have clients sort of warming up, and just really, really integrate it. So, I mean, if I was running a different business, I'd do it a different way. But for what we were doing, and because we were, you know, being quite aggressive and just maybe something comes up, let's focus on growth, let's take it. And then that's where you have good operations, where you can sort of back yourself to be like, look, if we take on too many people, we'll figure it the fuck out. We've got the resources, we've got the people, we can figure it out, or we can call time out.
What's the most amount of reps you had at any given time?
I think
ballpark.
I think I remember, I don't know reps, I'll include total staff, and I'd say 80% of that total staff was reps.
Yeah.
I remember being in a meeting towards the end of my time there, and I vaguely remember a figure of, I think it was like 160 people that were working for us.
Far out.
Yeah.
And that was in a matter of years, from you and Matt to 160 staff.
It was about 3.5 years. Yeah.
Wow. It was a big Zoom meeting.
Yeah. We talk about culture. Do you think it's more important for what you stand for or for what you stand against?
I think it could be both.
You both?
Yeah. I think like that ultimately comes down to who the man in front is. You know, like it's, I remember at stages like, we played that what you stand against part, and that was, you know, Dan Locke's a dickhead, like all these guys, like all these high ticket scam guys that are not very good at sales.
Yeah,
that was a very, you know, we did that, then realized like, is this hate getting anywhere? Not really. Like it's, and I see a lot of people do it now, and I look back and cringe and go, let them be. I think it was more not acknowledging those things, because it does feel like, you know, you're kind of riding the coattails of someone bigger. And, you know, at that time, I didn't see it, but I remember later on down the track going, that's probably not a good idea. Let's pivot.
There is so much content now where people are just reacting to other creators' content with much bigger followings. Yeah, it's cheap. Yeah. Cheap heat.
Yeah, it's like, do you have to tear down other people to... It's just a bit of
it's fun.
Yeah, and I think what I got from your podcast was you guys just said you're just doing what the fuck you wanted. Matt was very polarizing personality and said whatever you wanted to say, and you would chime in and do the same, and it was just a lot of laughs.
I'm sure if you watch his content now, he probably doesn't shit on a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
So back then, 160, you know, majority of salespeople, had you determined, okay, like our our target is 18 to 25-year-old guys, and then the majority of them were that, or maybe it wasn't exactly that pigeonholed, but did you determine who you wanted?
Yeah, I think that would have made up the majority,
Yeah.
right? You know, nothing against like male versus female, but because of like, as you said, like that polarizing figures, a lot easier for a male to fit into like that sub-classification and get along with anyone else. Now, don't get me wrong, we had quite a lot of like females that worked for us, and they did well. It's just like it's like you know, you go to the footy club.
Yeah.
A guy's going to come in and fit in better. There's going to be a couple of women that, you know, vibe with that and enjoy that culture, but it is predominantly male dominated.
And when was your role managing that? I mean, not managing the team, but you were in charge of operations.
Yeah, for most part.
So like I get anxiety thinking about 160 people for myself, like because our team's never gone anywhere close to that. So like had you ever managed or had a team even close to that size before?
No, not at all.
Learn as you go, or did you just figure the fuck out?
Yeah, just figure it out, you know, wake up, get shit done, make it happen. Yeah.
Put out one fire, put out the next fire.
It's all it is, mate. You're basically working in a big red truck every day with a hose going.
Yeah, I guess like it's interesting, right? Because like people see the fast scaling business and they think this looks amazing, and then there's the COO in the background with the fire hose. Just
I reckon 3 more years, my haircut would have been yours.
that's right. I'm going bald. No, we had our gyms closed in COVID.
Yeah. That would have been tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just and I think that's where, because we've been down a similar road, not a similar road, but we have tried to grow our team. We had a sales manager. At one point, we had 30-ish reps, maybe.
Yeah, even more. We had like 40.
40.
We got to 40 sales reps.
30, 40, and it just became too much. Like it broke because the sales manager, she did an amazing job, but it was just too much. And then if we really wanted to, we felt like we probably would have had to hire someone else because she was also in charge of recruitment. And then if we hired someone else, then it dips into the margin, and then all of a sudden we get fat in the middle. So it's just we kind of hit that point where we decided to retreat.
Yeah. Well, a business is kind of like a staircase where you're going to get these hit these points where you're like, okay, I need additional infrastructure to continue to grow. That costs money, all right? You need to make investments along the way. That's going to drain resources. It's going to drain cash, but it gets you through to the next stage. And there's just that matter of balance of like, okay, how much cash do we continue to take out versus invest? And that really comes down to goals where you feel comfortable. But if you've got good processes and you've got good structure and you're very good at figuring out these problems and how to adapt around it, and you've got the people in there that can execute on it. So it's all well and good to say, all right, these are the structures that you put in place. But if you got people that are just not good enough to come in and manage and do those things, it's all going to fall apart.
Yeah.
And I think like a lot of people, when they go through and they get in good margins, they hit a black spot, you know? Margins drop, start to stress out and go, I don't know if it's worth going to that next level, you know, and start to peel back. And it's a normal thing. And it really, yeah.
I feel like there's a perfect size for every business where the margin is super high, life's good. And then there is after that point, you still get more returns, but it's just diminishing. Yeah. And I think where businesses get into trouble is when they go for the top end.
Yeah.
And then they go through 3 months of bad ads or 3 months of no sales. Or
I think there's an equilibrium point where it naturally kind of gets to, and then it's very unnatural to get beyond that. And you really need to force a lot of things to happen. At least that's our experience with it.
Yeah. I think I agree with you to a point, but also disagree.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very hard to say that until you get to that next level, right?
Maybe we just haven't been there.
Because like the reality is like if the business model is good, it will get through those. You put the right people, the right processes in place, and then you draw on. You then open up to economies of scale.
Yeah.
Right. You then open yourself up to additional side revenues and things like that, which then can make up a lot of those pitfalls that you get yourself into. With levels of growth becomes more opportunities. And it's about being able to take advantage of it without the core product dissipating.
Well, last time we had dinner, we was talking about like going to that next level and just like you can get there, but like it also requires an investment.
Yeah.
Meaning that your margin may be less for 12 months. And are you willing to do that to get to the other side?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think just like having this self-awareness of like, are you trying to have 50 gyms?
Yeah.
Or are you trying to have one excellent gym under management where you can be a great dad?
Yeah.
And that's where like we honestly,
all goals,
we get
right?
torn all the time. Like we want more, but we want to be great dads. We want more, want to be great dads. We want more, but like where I live, like just it's, and for gym owners, I want to set location 2, location 3, I want to hire more staff, want to add a reformer, want to just like, but it's just that, what is your goal?
Yeah, you need to get clear on what you want, and then it's you because there's people we know who are really wanting to create something huge, and they will do things that at this point in life we're not wanting to do, not comfortable in doing. And then you've got other people who wouldn't even want the size business we have. They would be petrified of that, and they want to just be a owner operator, and they're happy with that, and they run sessions and they're totally happy with that, and enough money to do what they want. So it's really dependent on, and it's, I guess, because obviously we're partners and we have differing opinions on things, but we never move forward with anything unless we are in complete agreement together. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to share, but did you find that challenging having partners?
Yeah. I mean, my partners are absolute dickheads, right? In the most positive way, and they would have thought the exact same thing about me. And it should be the case. Like you should agree on probably 70% of things, and then 30% of things you should be challenging each other to get better.
We have arguments like, can't you see what I see?
Yeah.
Can't you see this thing over here? It's like, but can't you see the tax man?
Yeah. Look, I mean, here's a really good sort of example. I see things very different ways to Matt, but we were both in agreement that, hey, let's just be fucking aggressive. Like, why not? We're at that age where if we've got to this level, things fall apart. There's no way you can't do it again.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of the times, like I wouldn't say have arguments, but differing opinions. You know, I want to structure a deal this way because I think it gives us the benefit to be able to do X, Y, Z. I think we should be investing in this, right? And a lot of the time, like I would disagree on some of the things that Matt said. But the one thing that we had that was really good and that worked so well is I remember a lot of the conversations like, I think you're wrong for these reasons, but you've been right. And if you genuinely believe it, I'm going to tell you, I told you so if I'm right.
Yeah.
But you've earned the right to try.
Yeah. So you guys,
I'll back you.
But you guys had the same goal, the same vision. We're aggressive. We're going all in. This is the North Star. And you both had very different versions of how you get there the best way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we didn't even know where we're going to get to. It's just like, fuck it, see what happens. Yeah. You know?
So you went from PT to having a massive company that then helped start 7th Level and push that to the moon. How did you learn so quickly on the job? Like, because just like you were running a business the size of someone that has probably had CEO experience with $100 million company that comes into a $20 million. Like, it's a big job.
Oh, there's no real answer for that.
Just finding it out.
Yeah. Just you fuck around, and find out pretty quickly. Like it's I think some people are very naturally inclined to be able to do things like that and, relish the challenge and enjoy it and work hard. I think like there's a lot of luck involved as well. All of those things come together and it just works, or you find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't, some of our early success in business was predominantly luck.
Yeah.
And we're not arrogant enough to be like, oh no, like, we had good ideas and all of that shit. But it's like, no, it was a great time to do it. Like we capitalized on the boom of group fitness in 2015. Yeah. And that's it. But then I guess for a lot of the stuff, I mean, we can attribute some of the stuff we've learned to certain people, but then there's also we just kind of figured it out as we went. Like we meet a lot, we talk a lot, like we talk once or twice a day for extended periods of time, and you times that by 5 years, like it's a lot of conversations.
So we pivot into your newest business, J Squared. You have partnered with James Cant, former online coach. Unfortunately, yes. We all know James. Very direct, very passionate.
Book, isn't he?
Very, how can I say this the best way? He's a man that knows what he wants, and I like that.
Whenever I hear his voice, if I wasn't looking at him, I'd swear it was Chris Hemsworth talking.
He can't hear that ever.
Just his voice, not how he looks. Let's not get those two things mixed.
I'd say, if you're listening, more of a Liam Hemsworth.
Liam Hemsworth, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I got that mixed up.
He's the Temu version of Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, sorry, I got that mixed up.
So J Squared. So in that period of growing a massive business, you quickly became a master of operations, systems, projections. What is J Squared, and what is the mission of this new business?
And I don't actually know, so this will be.
Yeah, I mean, like, call it 100 different things. It's pretty much just like a consulting gig. So primarily, like, what we've been doing is, and if I go like the long term plan, is it's a play to do a lot more M&A, right? From all the experience.
Just for the audience, they won't know. Mergers and
acquisitions. So, like, if you want to sell a company, come let me know. We might buy it. But basically, like, there is a fundamental core key components of businesses. And like yourselves, you hit those black spots. You don't know if you want to move forward. What we tend to do is come in and either consult and help people guide them through those processes so that they have the systems and structures, so they know what levers to pull on in order to grow. Build the processes around that, so if they do want to scale, that ability is there. And the point is to build a bunch of structures around sales, around marketing, recruitment, retention, culture, all of these key finance, key core components of running a SME, or what you'd call a small medium enterprise business. So something doing $500,000 to $15 million a year. All right. And then as we build those structures, we've been doing a lot of going in and looking to buy other companies, right? With the intention that we've done it before quite a few times. We've taken equity in clients' businesses through Sales Sniper and grew them, and are doing the same here in J Squared. So simply that, we'll go in, we'll find these companies where we think there is either upside potential, or it's managed really poorly. They have the ingredients and infrastructure to be able to grow, and whoever, whether it's the founder, the owner, they don't have either the skill set or the desire to extract the value from that company.
So you might have continued down that path, but what would you do for that? So let's say that second one there, you got an owner, operator who doesn't have the skills, resources to do it. How would J Squared come in to help?
Very, very dependent upon that as an individual. So I'll give you an example.
Yeah, can we go real world? There's 5 gyms.
Yeah.
Favorable leases. Great owner that you get along with, respect. You can be friends, pass the airport test.
Yeah. But
that gym owner is a terrible marketer, terrible salesperson, doesn't have contracts. You can just see click to close, everything is fucked. Mm-hmm. That is the type of business that you would like come into and just plug all those holes.
Yeah, to just be mapping out. It's like, okay, what are everything that you have in your business that's working right now? And then I'll go through a process where I map it out and go, okay, you're missing this, you're missing this, you're missing this, you're missing this, based on where we think you want to get to, right? Then it's going out, okay, from a structured plan, what needs to be put in place first and in what order? And it's like, great, let's go and do that. Here's a roadmap, go and do it yourself, or you can pay us to come and do it for you. Or you can give us 10%, 15%, 20%, and we'll spend the time working through that with you to get to X goal. And the idea is to we either come in and buy a stake in that because we've acknowledged, okay, if I look at this balance sheet, if I can fix some of those holes, it's going to make it immensely cheaper to run. Plus, we're going to make it immensely cheaper to bring on leads and convert them, which means revenue is going to go up, costs are going to go down, it gives us a better margin. Then from there, once we zap all the growth out of that, how many other gyms are there in the area that's operating on that pool?
And roll them up.
We've now got a structure. Let's go take 10, 15, 20 gyms. All of a sudden, we can probably sell those gyms, get out within 5 years because we've taken the operations on each of those much cheaper. We've made each of them more profitable.
Yep.
And then combine it.
It's a real world example. Sorry, you might have 10 gyms, but you put in a CEO, you've got
Correct.
two group managers. You've got a localized call center sales staff. So you're cutting costs everywhere.
Yeah.
By economy
Yeah,
of
that
scale.
was my question. You've got your team that you're paying no matter what, or to an extent. And then you can be like, okay, like this person needs a salesperson. So we've got Johnny over here that can come in and do sales for those guys. And then we've got Jimmy who does marketing, and then he can come in and do marketing. And you're filling the void of what they need with your team that you've already got.
Yeah, and they can do it on their own. This is what I do. Do it yourself. How you pay us to consult, or give us 10% or whatever that number is.
So then you present them like a done with you or a done for you service.
Yeah.
Option really at the end.
It's really dependent. Like, one, how much we've got on, and do I want to spend time on this, and is the payoff worth it?
That's what I was going to say. You wouldn't have a problem with lead flow because there'd be so many businesses that would disqualify. Like you wouldn't even worry about them.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was having a conversation with this guy a couple of weeks ago. He does like a lot of cold email out to, hey, you're thinking of selling, and we've adopted some of that. Been having some really good conversations. There is like businesses that you can go in and turn around, right? But we're also looking for what's more important for us is like sideways integrations, right? So I've got 2 or 3 assets that we currently own. I'd rather buy businesses where I can put those assets into them, right? For instance, we took on an AI company, and they do all of like the voice agents for receptionists and outbound stuff, right? Now, if we were to buy, say, an accounting firm, they might have a roster of 100 clients. It's a very good integration where I'm like, hey, I'm going to sell you services from this company because it makes sense. It's what you call a synergy, and that's one way to unlock value, right? These products and services work here. So we're more interested in businesses like that where we can unlock instant synergies, because instant synergies equals instant value, or what you would call enterprise value, meaning you buy it for $100, you immediately put more revenue in. That share price is now worth $200. You've got a 200% gain.
When the other James in this partnership spoke to me about this idea, I couldn't stop laughing because I just thought about James grows a mustache. He's very muscular. Acquisition.com.au.
Yeah. Definitely want to get sued for that, but I like the idea.
Grow your hair out.
That was my thought.
Wear a singlet.
It is November, so good time for a mustache, right?
Yeah, I mean, is it somewhat similar to what Hamosi's doing?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know all the back end of what he does, but
I'm pretty like I mentor some of the guys that work for Hormozy on that sort of semi-executive level. For him, it's different. He takes equities in the business, but he doesn't run them, right? He'll as far as I know, they don't do any, like they do some somewhat coaching. For me, it's particularly with the stage of life I'm in, I want to get involved and control it.
Okay.
Right? I'd back myself to get in and do these. So it's I don't know if people are familiar with like venture capital, right?
Oh, man, we lost the audience 45 minutes ago.
Well, big sums of money. Venture capital is
having a chat now.
just funding where they might buy a company, put $10 million in, leave the founders to utilize that money. Same principle. However, in this instance, we don't want to give them as much money. I want to give them the experience and do it for them, right? Or partner with them and say, these are the parts that you're shit at. The only way that you're going to extract the value if someone comes in and does it for you. And that's where we come in and actively work in it.
So you're way, way, way more hands-on. Than what you can determine he is.
We have our done for you service where we just take care of the front end, and we don't obviously we get no profit share. So effectively, we could come into gyms like, hey, we'll do our stuff as opposed to giving us a commission. Just give us 10%. And while we're there, we're going to fix your contracts, fix your pricing, install high level. You're using the wrong software. Yeah, I get it.
Because we've had those conversations before. Yeah. And it kind of ended with me shutting it down and being like...
But do you know where that conversation stops? Do we like the founder?
Yeah.
That's the hard part for us.
because we've got a few people that we know that we're like, hey, we know that we could really help them. But then it's actually just the founder where we're like, they're as likely just to say, hey guys, we just stop this. And obviously they have contracts and everything, but we just wouldn't trust that they would probably be on board with it all.
Yeah. And it's the catch-22. Early days, we were doing some similar stuff like that with Sniper, but it wasn't like we'll do all your ops and shit. It was let's just put your sales team in. You don't pay us commission. We'll grow this because we want to sell it and get our value that way. We made a lot of mistakes because at that point we were like, oh, let's grow. And it was exciting. Like the proposition of buying a business, it's
You
like,
take on anyone.
yeah, that was it. Like, and it didn't work very well.
Well, Hermosi said that. He said he did have 20-something deals in his first year. And then when we've spoke through it, like we've had clients where we're like, hey, like we don't say it to them, but we say we could really help them.
Yeah.
And then if I can imagine the excitement of the first acquisition, or the first,
Due diligence is
Yeah.
key.
In terms of like the good founder, I want to talk about the attractive character, which was Jeremy Miner for 7th level. How important do you think that is if you were to come in and take over a
It's
business?
key.
It's key.
Yeah, has
So
to be
I
key.
want to really explore that. Like, what do you look for in the attractive character?
Well, it's one or two things, right? It depends what they're used for,
Okay.
right? Jeremy, in this instance, was an incredible sales guy, incredible on camera, which means he's a very marketable asset. He also knew what he was doing, had a lot of connections in that space, and was willing to do the work, most of it.
He has a hypnotic, well, he talks, it's like hypnotic. It's almost, you just lean into him. It's amazing.
Yeah,
You saw his door-to-door spiel?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, there's
Rustling
some
through
things there. Yeah, I could tell you some stories off air, right? Yeah, like in this example, in that industry of like that online, you need someone that is marketable on camera. Without that, the company doesn't exist. It's useless, right? So for him, he didn't have the skill set or the expertise to be able to run a business, to be able to handle the growth and whatnot, which is kind of where we stepped in and aided with that. Like I didn't spend that much time at our 7th level. I got out maybe after like 12, 18 months. I just wasn't something that I overly wanted to be involved with. And I stepped back into Sales Sniper and then eventually left that. But if we look at, take that out of the equation and go into something completely different that isn't 7th level, say, medical supplies, right? Some completely different random thing that I've picked up off. You don't need someone there being that front end guy to market. But what is super important is having the person that has all of the industry knowledge, particularly around the governance, particularly around how the business models work and that whole field. Like I couldn't step into a business like that and grow it significantly because I don't know all the lingo. I don't know how to connect. I don't know how that world operates.
Yeah.
Right. So having that partner in that industry is absolutely crucial. And that's
that
what
attractive character has nothing to do with them being marketable. It's just them knowing everything that there is to
It's
know
about
about.
what's the missing ingredient that we don't have that we require for that to be successful.
So answer this question. Be honest. You do the exact same thing you did for Jeremy Miner, but I'm the attractive character.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
wouldn't
Like,
work.
The character.
Yeah.
I'm the character,
Not
not attractive.
Yeah, I mean,
Gotcha.
And I want to drive this home because, like, back to gym owners and studio owners, like, you need to get on camera. You need to be like the local star in your
in
area.
a gym, yeah, it's pretty
You
important.
need like, and it's our entire last fortnight has been on the attractive character.
Yeah. Now, I would say that's very different depending on the gym that you own. Like if you're a big box, doesn't mean anything, you know?
So the more personalized the business, or is it more if it's just like a service-based business? Because obviously medical supplies, it's
Yeah,
not really.
exactly.
But if it was like accounting or something, like is that that's boring?
Well,
Accounting's boring, but it's service-based, and if you bought into Mr.
It is
ABC,
service place. Let's I probably explain that incorrectly. It's more about connecting that founder with the way that you acquire a customer, right? In the industry that you're in, i.e. Jeremy, that was through direct response ads, which means having an online presence was key to that. In, say, accounting, majority of the time it's through referral, et cetera, et cetera. So in that instance, you would want someone who's not necessarily good on camera, but they would need to be a skilled BDM networker where they can go out, go meet with people, have the conversations and take them through a longer sales
understand.
cycle.
So whatever your acquisition process or how you mainly get customers is where you need someone
Yes.
to.
Yes.
So for studio owners at home, I feel like we just got a free 1 hour mentoring session with James Sackle.
And if your business sucks and you want to sell,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some lessons from this podcast is fuck around and figure it out.
There's a nice chart for that.
Yeah.
It's like a little whoosh, here's the fuck around, here's the find out part. Yeah.
And no matter how much some people look like they've got it together, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're just figuring out they got the fire hose.
Mhm.
Lesson number 2 would be, regardless of the size of the business, the operations matter.
Yeah.
The systems matter. The processes matter. The planning matters. What would you say for that, Mitch?
Well, I
Like,
think
what else? Have you got?
One thing that I just kept thinking of when you were explaining it before, because a lot of gym owners, to bring it back to them, they don't have a problem with having too many clients. But I have conversations with people where they're like, oh, if we bring on too many clients, we're going to need to get a new equipment and new start. And it's
So get
like,
it.
yeah, but it's like the next problem to solve, and it's not even here yet. It's like saying, oh, I'm going to get like so shredded that I'm going to have all these women like throwing themselves at me. And it's like, okay, well, does that mean you shouldn't?
Yeah. What if I have to add more classes to the timetable?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like to apply it. It's like if you feel like that one new thing could lead to a problem, then figure out that problem when you get to it, as opposed to trying to figure it out at the start and then just getting paralysis by analysis and not doing.
I think you should start Diary of a Coup.
Cool.
Diary of the CEO is taken by Stephen Bartlett.
Yeah.
But like,
It's got a few downloads.
but for Mitch's credit, like I'm the face of our brand. I do the podcast. I do the networking. We've had dinner. You have met him before because he's the grinder at home.
Yeah.
Just the
Boring.
You into
the-
that? Okay.
yeah. But
No judgment.
yeah, grinder. Sorry, wheels are slowly turning.
To tell him that.
But the operating officer is so unbelievably important in any business, because like people come to us with acquisition problems, but they don't have anyone to call the leads.
Yeah.
They don't have anyone to onboard the client. They don't have anyone to send the message day to if they miss a session.
Well, if you don't have clients, you don't need operations, obviously. So that's where I always, marketing and sales is the most important thing. Otherwise, you don't have any problems to
solve.
to solve. But as soon as you have them coming through, then you need systems on the back end.
At scale, I think the operations becomes the most important person in majority of cases. I'm sure there's a lot of argument to that, but the thing with operations is no one's giving you a pat on the back or a high five for it. It's a behind the scenes. It's the operations is designed when it's doing well, you don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Only
You
when it
only
fucks
notice it. You
Yeah.
only notice how good your operations is when a problem comes up, because it's smooth sailing if everything's working good, and no one gives you high fives for smooth sailing.
Back to gym owners. Most gym owners are one good manager away from having the business they dream of.
Yeah. And I think for small businesses like gyms, I think if you've got someone who can do a bit of both, that would be very valuable, because they just don't have the budget to be able to pay a salesperson and a operations person.
They can
If you-
pay you guys, though, can't they?
They're good.
They could.
Yeah.
Should do
Maybe
that.
mergers and
Well.
acquisitions. We'll start JS squared.
You should.
Sorry, JM squared.
Yeah, who's S?
JM squared.
Who's this S guy?
But mate,
We haven't told you about that. We've been talking.
yeah. And mate, again, we
Knew I
learned
shouldn't have
a
missed
bunch
that,
from you from afar. It's been great to get to know you the last couple of years. So thanks for coming on. I appreciate your time.
Thanks,
Weird,
Josh,
awkward
mate.
handshake again.
Yeah. You'll get one.
To cap it off.
Sorry about that.
That's
the
why we
mic.
don't do it.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Rolling out.